Do you spend a lot of time in traffic? Have you noticed that certain types of cars behave worse than others? I've been driving for a living for 6 years, so I've noticed quite a few bad behaviors. I'm going to list 5 different car types, makes and models and provide a basic analysis as to why they're so infuriating. Number 5. BMWs. You know the stereotypes. These drivers never use their indicators and seem to think that they own the road. There are some good exceptions, of course, but I'm going to mention a couple that stand out for the worse. Point 1. Old BMWs with big engines, overly enthusiastic driving, badly misjudged passes, common sight in ditches, especially in winter. I suppose it's mostly because they're driven by young adults who can't afford a new BMW, so they get an old one with a big engine. A teenager with more enthusiasm than experience, rear-wheel drive, loads of power. I mean, what could go wrong? Point 2. BMW iX. Symptoms include high and mighty attitude. They pretty much act like they own the road, which leads to road rage if they think someone wronged them. I can't really empathize with anyone who bought one of these. They must live in a different plane of reality if they want to be seen.
Just look at it.
Number 4. Old Volvos. I think this might be a local thing, but growing up I saw a lot of young reckless Volvo drivers in the countryside. They were often speeding, but unlike BMWs, they usually managed to stay on the road. These were also cheap rear-wheel drive cars. But kids in the countryside learned to drive on ice and open fields before ever starting driving school. So they had a pretty good grasp on car control. Kids still buy old Volvos these days, but now that they're mostly front-wheel drive, there is a lot less sliding and just a lot of annoyingly loud subwoofers. Number 3. Old beat-up yankers. I actually like how most 60s and 70s American cars look and sound, but the ones I'm talking about are a huge exception. I've seen a few with more rust than paint who like to cruise around town in 10 km per hour in the night. Blasting loud music naturally, but also people hanging out the windows and doors. If or how they are road legal, I don't know. I also don't want to speculate what goes on in these people's heads. Number 2. Nissan Qashqai. A very common car in Finland. That's probably one of the reasons it makes the list. Unlike the others, I don't think Qashqai drivers are necessarily reckless though. If anything, they're actually too cautious. They often form traffic clogs by driving way below the speed limit. They also tend to hold up intersections and roundabouts, and when they finally do get going, they still somehow manage to get into someone else's way. I think most people who buy these don't care at all about the driving experience. They're most likely just parents who want something high-riding and safe to drive their kids in. Also, if you buy one used, you get a well-equipped crossover for cheap, so... And number 1. Toyota Yaris. Particularly the first and second generation Toyota Yaris. These are easily the worst offenders. Just to mention a few observations. No indicators, no regard for traffic rules, no attention to the road, no attention to the traffic, no control, reckless, dents, scratches, missing parts. And they also park wherever they like. As with Qashqais, I'm sure pretty much nobody who buys these cares about how they drive. They're old, cheap, small, and reliable. Basically a tool for basic transportation. Also a very common car for food delivery people. There are plenty of banged up ones in town and it's not hard to see why. I was recently driving home when I saw a dark blue Yaris ahead, just reversing in the middle of the road. I thought I'd carefully just pass it on the right, but as I got almost alongside, it suddenly turned right without any warning, so I had to brake hard to avoid an accident. No indicators, and the driver had his phone in his hand. There was also another incident on a weekend night shift. We had just gotten a bit of snow, so it was a bit slippery. I saw a grey Yaris crashed into a traffic sign between the lanes of an intersection. and witnessed another one just like it slamming into a barrier when failing to turn left at that very same intersection. The impact loosened the front bumper on one side, but the driver just got out and casually ripped it completely off. I wish I was making this up, but no, this really happened. And I think it speaks a lot about the attitudes of these drivers. Now, do you agree with my choices? Can you think of even worse examples? Maybe your car was on the list and you got offended. Well, if your car was on this list, you shouldn't take it personally. I'm just listing general behaviors. You know you're a good driver, and I'm not here to claim otherwise. Take care.